What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Like always, like and subscribe, leave a comment down below, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Today, finally back with another book review. It's been a little bit of a while. This book took me about a day or so longer than I thought it would for me to read it, which is totally fine. Nonfiction books are always going to slow me down when I read them. The last nonfiction book I read was in November of 2025, and it was The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. And it was so messed up, so terrible, so brutal that I didn't want to read another nonfiction since. That's literally the book that killed nonfiction books for me. And now, whenever I hear somebody call anybody a Nazi, I don't care where you're coming from, what you think they are. If they're racist, a bigot, they're a racist and a bigot. But trust me, they're not a freaking Nazi, and you're a freaking moron idiot if you call them that. So with that out of the way, we read Relentless Strike by Naylor. Nothing to do with Nazis, but everything to do with terrorists. And the people that basically came about within the military, the government, all that, operatives to go after these, elite units of some of the best, like, soldiers the country had to offer, United States of America had to offer, to go after these people, these terrorists. This is Joint Special Operations Command, The Secret History of Joint Special Operations Command, Relentless Strike. Right away, I give it an 8 out of 10. It was a great book, and it's nonfiction, so it's a little bit, unless you're in to this kind of stuff, this military type of stuff, don't read it. If you're into that stuff, if you're into the military thriller genre like I am, then read it. It's a great read. It did take me longer to read, but I am also doing a bunch of other stuff. I have no balance in my life. I just do things as I want. So that slowed my reading down. Nothing to take away from the book. The book read well. We'll read the back of it. It has a couple of little things that other people wrote about it. What I will say is, what I've heard from other, like, the military people that have read this and stuff, this dude basically spilled the beans and let out a bunch of information that, it was basically classified over all these years. But here we go. Since the attacks of September 11th, one organization has been at the forefront of America's military response. It turned the tide against Al-Qaeda in Iraq, killed bin Laden and Zarqawi, I'm probably butchered that, rescued Captain Phillips, and captured Saddam Hussein. Its commander can direct cruise missile strikes from nuclear submarines and conduct special operation raids anywhere in the world. Relentless Strike tells the inside story of Joint Special Operations Command, the secret military organization that during the past decade has revolutionized counterterrorism, seamlessly fusing intelligence and operational skills to conduct missions that sometimes hit the headlines but more often remained in the shadows until now. Because JSOC includes the military's most storied special operation units, Delta Force, SEAL Team 6, the 75th Ranger Regiment, as well as America's most secret aviation intelligence units, this is their story too. Through exclusive interviews, author Naylor uses his unique access to reveal how an organization designed in the 80s for a very limited mission set transformed itself after 9/11 to become the military's premier weapon in the war against terrorism, and how it continues to evolve today. So basically what the book covers, they didn't start out as this perfect elite unit. They had their flaws, they had their problems, and throughout all those years leading up to and after 9/11, they had problems. And a lot of it was, it was sealed. No one knew about this stuff. Nobody knew what was going on. You always heard about, the badasses out there doing stuff that most people can't do. And the training they go through is insane. And they talk about where they got their training, basically their regiment from, to see if you could, cut the mustard to get into this stuff. That they go over that in the book. What else? All kinds of stuff. Oh, there is some pictures. We actually have a soldier took a snapshot with a captured Saddam Hussein. We'll show that one picture, and you can see the other ones there, but I'm not going to talk about them. You want to know about them, read the book. If you're into this stuff, the book is perfect. I do think I probably could have read a few other nonfiction books about, similar to this kind of premise, that might have been a little shorter and a little easier of a read, and this would have been even better and probably a higher rating than an 8 out of 10, but I did not. I read this one first because it was highly recommended to me by the author of Fault Line, Stephen Hildreth Jr., to benefit me on my own writing journey within the military thriller genre. That's why I read it. And immediately I was like, okay, this is awesome. And I could see the wheels were spinning, the wheels were turning in my head as I was reading it. And I was like, this is definitely going to help out. And I already have the next one that I want to read within this, like, you know, bubble of stuff. It's called Task Force Black. It's mentioned at the very forefront of the book in the author's note. And I penciled it. And it's Task Force Black by Mark Urban. And then the next two would be The Endgame by Michael R. Gordon and General Bernard E. Traynor. And then My Share of the Task by General Stanley McChrystal, who is talked about quite a bit in this book towards the end, because he, he was basically, oh wow, I just read the book and I already forgot. That's another problem with nonfiction. If you're not taking notes, you're likely to forget a lot of things. I want to say he ended up, no, I think he was like, the senior leader or whatever of Task Force. I want to say Orange. It was within Delta Force for sure. I mean, that's what this book's covering. A lot of Delta Force is talked about, SEAL Team 6, all that stuff. But someone will tell me in the comments down below. A lot of people probably read this book multiple times. This will be a book that I dive back into to reference in the future. I'm sure there's already one reference I will use and will cite in my own book, In the Teeth of Lions, and I'll read it to you now. On page 149 in the chapter, I should have marked that too, so it'd have been quick to go back to it, but it's fine. In the chapter called Precious Cargo, which is chapter 11, we have some stuff going on, but anyways, what they're saying, it just wasn't the case of grabbing the people to be rescued and throwing them on an aircraft. That only happens in the movies, said a JSOC source, which I will, JSOC source, a lot of your characters in this book, it's nonfiction, they stayed, they didn't want their identities known, so they're just called sources or person. The SEALs needed to positively identify the detainees by comparing them to photographs and to search them in case their captors had hidden explosive on them. Yeah, that's all I wanted to read. The main part I wanted to highlight, though, was that only happens in the movies. And that's become a major pet peeve for me. And it's ruined me with these books as well, with fiction and authors. And like, I'll never finish Jack Reacher. Like, I don't care for characters like that anymore at all. It's not realistic. It's I'm ruined. I can't do it. I rather just watch documentaries about stuff that actually happened. So, you know what I mean? This book and my advice from Stephen Hildred Jr. have evolved my mind and changed my perspectives, and I just don't care for unrealistic stuff anymore. And yeah, I mean, it's probably a great story. I was never going to finish Jack Reacher anyways, or ever read the books, but is it going to stop me from reading the Ryanverse books of Tom Clancy? Because he takes liberties too, so I can't really hate on all of it overall. I'm just saying, now when I see something like that happening, I'm going to look at it through a different lens. Even if I, as becoming this, doing the writing myself, if I have to take some liberties for story's sake, it's probably going to irk me a little bit, but there's nothing I could do about it because I don't know enough yet, and I'm not a great enough author to work around that yet. So yeah, this book definitely changed me, and I'm sure when I read the next one, it will change me further. When I get to Task Force Black by Mark Urban, which will be next month. Yeah, it changed me. It did what it did, but it doesn't detract from the book. A solid 8 out of 10, mainly because it was so, it's nonfiction. It's going to be super technical. And I didn't really go over the notes and compare them to what he was talking about. You don't really need to. The writing reads well, so you can follow it pretty easily. What I am going to do, though, is check out the bibliography after I read the first 3 that are noted in the front and kind of go through these and possibly, just at first I'm just going to pick ones that really interest me and go ahead and pick those up and read them, because they're all in the bubble of what I'm basically studying, you know what I mean? So they seem like, and if they were, just just a flicker of how good this one was, then I know I'm in for a good time. So next up for my read is another indie book, Metal Spies by Cole Chase. He is redoing the cover to this one as we speak. The newest cover, because he's going to put these first 3 together in one book. I'm only going to read part 1 of his original lineup. He sent me the first 3. Their other 2 are somewhere. I'm going to read this one this month. And then I may get to the second one in July, but if not, then in August for sure. They're little shorties, so relatively easy read. And I need a short, easy read coming off of this beast, so that's for sure. But that's the video today, guys. Relentless Strike by Sean Naylor. I think this might be his only book. I haven't checked. I feel like this was his only book. He might have had a second one. If he does have a second book in this kind of, area of expertise, I will pick it up before before Task Force Black. But we'll find out. But that's the video today, guys. Like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, hit the notification bell. Later.